Day 2, Investigation. February 23rd, 2:15 p.m. Wright and Law offices.
Mr. Wright, so what's going on with the case anyway? I'm a little confused.
Huh? Well, let's see. What is going on? It's been like 2 weeks since I played this. The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room.
What's this and the evidence room part? The prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car.
Well, that's what we're gonna find out, or try to at least.
Alright, let's do it.
She's in good spirits, but I'm not sure she's gonna be much help with this.
Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright.
Huh?
Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show.
You even use those. They're more like sunglasses.
Let's go. Science awaits us.
February 23rd, Prosecutor's Office. Underground parking lot.
You know, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares?
Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in the evidence room. No biggie.
Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it.
That oil drum, was it empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. My sister erasing evidence of the crime scene? Never!
Even though she says they don't get along, Emma really likes her sister.
That's not it at all! It's just... we're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her.
Big words for a high school student. Well, whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that oil drum washed it all away.
Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright.
Huh? What's that grin for?
This situation calls for one thing, and that is... luminol testing fluid.
Luminol?
Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there.
But wouldn't the police have already done those tests?
Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try.
Me? What do I have to do it?
I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet.
We're testing bloodstains with this stuff, not drinking it.
Here, look, I'll lend you these glasses.
Huh? You got an extra pair of those things? Oh. It's like Virtua Boy. Not that I've ever played that.
To test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Press enter to spray it on. Okay, let's find us some bloodstains.
See, this would be a wonderful case to showcase the revolutionary touchscreen technology that the DS came with, if we were on the DS. Ooh, blood. You see her eyes shining behind those glasses. So, is this a bloodstain?
It's so...
Emma, you're shaking.
It's just... this is my first time seeing real blood.
Scientific investigation in action.
Okay, well, we definitely know that this is a bloodstain. But doesn't something strike you as odd, scientifically speaking, of course?
The amount of it? The perpetrator and the Detective Goodman fought here, right? Don't you think there'd be a little more blood?
I definitely think so. I mean, look at all the blood of the sole of the victim's shoe.
It is pretty strange. If they fought here, there'd have to have been more blood than this.
Hey, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna mark up the floor plans when we find a bloodstain, okay?
I can't really call it a stain, it's more like a few drops.
See? I'm pretty handy to have around, right?
Yeah, and this stuff's pretty handy too.
I see that my allowance to buy that.
Luminol testing fluid received from one very proud-looking MS guy. Solution used for scientific investigation. Finds blood traces. Spray to use.
We can't be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Something they failed to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case.
And let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day.
Yeah. Feels like we're really investigating a crime now, doesn't it?
Guess I should give this a spray on anything suspicious.
Ha!
Oh, it's Angel.
I wonder how that fluid of yours will react to a nice deli box. Miss Star! You only trust your own eyes, hmm? Not bad, you two. This day-old deli box is on the house.
Day-old sushi, huh? Sorry, it's just that kind of lead-in doesn't really get my mouth watering. Hello, Miss Star. I am a lawyer. I believe I mentioned this.
That looks like a petrified piece of provolone.
Huh? It's not. It's my attorney's badge.
I think a petrified piece of provolone would fetch more on the open market.
But my badge isn't up for sale. Not yet, at least. You got anything to say about the luminol? Nope, you do not. How about that photo?
If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room. But even I get flustered sometimes.
So you went straight to the scene of the crime?
I rushed towards the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes? In other words, 5 minutes after the crime? Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. The hole in my testimony, as it were. The 5 minutes weren't the problem, Miss Star. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl. I've had my testimony disregarded before. And I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time.
What time?
You certainly put me in a tight spot today.
My apologies, Miss Star, but...
No, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room, right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry? You lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Sky stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. I swear it on my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman.
This photograph has something important to tell us, but what?
So, you're a detective, weren't you, Miss Star? Yes. It was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up.
Coughed it up?
They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too.
So she's her own good cop slash bad cop. Got it. I wouldn't doubt it.
Every day I drag the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. And before long they called me the cough-up queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches.
And you were let go or fired?
I felt that I found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case. The SL9 incident.
SL9? Wait, she doesn't mean...
What do you think about this? The SL9 incident. It's written on that knife. And on that note... Goodman. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know? Really? That knife was evidence from that case. The murder weapon. It was due for transferal the very day that Goodman was killed. As I suspected. SL9 isn't over. Not yet.
Do you think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident?
That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable? To who? 2 years ago. It was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So, they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed.
Executed?
Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was, they never did find any decisive evidence. Not a shred.
What? But the criminal was executed, right?
On the basis of evidence of a sort. Made up evidence. What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with that case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen, others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those? Myself and one other person you know well.
Wait, could it be?
Exactly. Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I mean, Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. And then, it was over, and he was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I.
You have forgotten SL9?
There was another side to that case, a hidden side. And that's what we're after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait, those lunches you sell... There's only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends. Boyfriends that can help me investigate.
Miss Star's old boyfriends. How many does she have anyway? Just when all the detectives on SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence.
There has to be a connection. So, Rookie? What? It seems like you're serious about investigating this case.
Yes.
Then you should take this.
Salisbury steak lunch? Steak lunch. I wonder if Salisbury steak would go good over rice. Questionable.
I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with his treat.
Steak lunch received from Miss Star. Receipt from Miss Star. Excellent for putting Officer Marshall in a good mood.
Miss Star? Officer Marshall, is he your, are you his... Are you... going out? If you want to know. I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And it was nice to meet too back then.
This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective.
But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you.
Officer Jake Marshall.
You'll give that to Jake like I asked, won't you? You and Officer Marshall, you, are you going out?
Okay, that's the same thing. February 23rd. Police Department. Entrance. It's even busier today than it was yesterday.
Detectives are running around so fast they're blurring.
I suppose it makes sense. A detective did get killed here after all.
So, the evidence room, the scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk, here it is.
She's like a kid at an amusement park.
Ooh, a real crime scene. Let's go take a look.
Who the hell gives a pamphlet? Who the hell gives a pamphlet of all the locations of their facilities? February 23rd. Evidence room entrance. Guard station. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric.
According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station from the evidence room.
So beyond that door is the evidence room. The scene of the crime?
It sure seems that way.
Oh! What's wrong?
It's those cacti. They're so prickly, so imposing, it's hard to think straight.
If you can't handle the cacti, stay out of the desert. What I want to know is, if this is a guard station, where is the guard?
I have a feeling I know who he is already. Yipes. These sure are prickly. They must be the real deal.
I don't think just one big one would be suspicious.
These cacti are a lot like my sister, actually.
How so?
Encased in a cold, rigid shell with spines pointing in every direction. Just like her.
I'm not so sure I see the resemblance.
It's more an attitude thing than a physical similarity.
Looks like there's a video feed from the evidence room here.
There's a light blinking below the monitor. It says, recording. I mean, we could use his computer to check on who went in and out of there. Look on the floor. A lasso.
Looks like it's set up to trap something.
A trap? Here? Wait, I know. Maybe someone was trying to catch a wild bull in here. But the lasso missed.
You sure have an active imagination. The evidence room is beyond that door.
Let's just walk in. It won't open.
You thought it'd be open. I think we need someone's permission to go in there first.
There's a security guard uniform hanging here.
Looks more like a costume than a uniform, honestly.
A leather jacket, leather pants, leather... What was that called again? A punchy? Paunchy? Pinchy? I know, a poochie. Wait, maybe that was when it...
It's a poncho, but I think I'll keep that information to myself for the time being. Okay, no one else is here. Let's go somewhere else. February 23rd, Police Department. Entrance. This place is charged with frantic energy as always. Please!
Huh? Wasn't that...
One steak lunch, please! Ah, it's you. Detective Gumshoe! Now's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland.
Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale.
I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Now's no time for despair. We caught our criminal. Now we just need evidence. Wait, criminal?
You mean...
You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right, pal?
On the same day, the detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot. Another detective was killed at the police department? And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact.
Wait, I don't even remember his voice anymore. It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy.
But Detective Gumshoe, who was it?
Listen, pal, all I know is I need me a steak lunch pronto. Standing around here talking ain't gonna fill my belly.
But wait, don't leave.
If you want to know more, head on down to the detention center, pal. Question should be over, so I figured he's down there having a good cry. Later.
He ran out to the evidence room. Well, this investigation is off to a running start. February 23rd, Detention Center, Visitors Room. Still, I do feel better about things. A little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess they did. Best to not go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing. Ow, my ears.
What was that?
Sir, that's what I'm saying. Me, a perpetrator? I'd say I was the perpetrator against, sir. That's what I'd say. Hi. Greetings, sir.
Hey, I know who you are.
Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth, anyone on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I got your report, sir.
Officer Meekins, so you're a guardian at the detention center?
No, sir, not sir. I'm a little lost patrolman, like a little lost lamp, sir.
Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report?
No, sir, how should I say this?
Wait, he isn't. Is he? You... Officer Meekins, you didn't... Did you?
Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir!
What? What? Now, this is an unexpected turn of events. Hi, Officer Meekins. I am a lawyer. Have a look at this.
Go ahead, sir. Laugh! Laugh at me, sir!
Huh?
I know what you want to say. You're gonna tell me how she has one just like it.
Me? Why would I?
I know, sir. I know. I'm the only one without a girl with matching badges. Nowhere. I'm alone. All alone. Is that so wrong? Life isn't all about high school sweethearts and youthful romance, sir.
Talking about those badges on her coat? I don't think there's a difference between my badge and a fashion accessory.
Sir, I'm patrolman with General Affairs, sir! Sir!
Ow, I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins.
I had some business that day, sir. So I went to the evidence room, sir. The gas station in front of the room was empty, sir.
So normally there's a guard at the evidence room.
That's right, sir. Because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Now, the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall.
Marshall?
Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in the evidence room. A suspicious person, sir. A suspicious person. Ow! What the heck is this guy doing?
So what happened then? After that, sir, everything went white. I saw red. I blocked out. When I came to, I was here in the detention center.
How long were you out? Days?
Might I ask, what happened to your hand? Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir.
A bandage on his hand. Just like Miss Sky.
Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office.
First things first. Tell us how you hurt your hand. Well, after the victim. I don't mean to pry, but you're the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right?
Sir, please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir. If you had to label me as a perpetrator or a victim, sir, then label me a victim.
I would, but you happen to be in detention and alive and well at that.
Yes, well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that.
Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman?
Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger or a total stranger, then I say he leans heavily on the total stranger's side.
So, you didn't know him?
Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light or other creature comforts. I don't know any detectives.
So, if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him?
Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir. None. Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir.
I think someone around here is more confused than I am. About your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime?
Well, you see, sir, don't you think you should just confess? But sir, but there was nothing I could do.
Nothing you could do?
Sir, to tell the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. And the next thing I knew, I was unconscious.
The next thing you knew, you were, huh?
Then, when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir. All alone. Alone because Detective Goodman disappeared.
What?
Then when I looked down, I saw it was gushing blood from my hand, sir. Oh, the shock! The sorrow, sir! Can you imagine how I felt?
Victim's body disappeared.
That's some story.
You mean this victim?
You need to take a look at this. Hey! That's it, sir! That's it! That's it! That's what? My hand was blank until this very moment. But sir, now I remember. I remember, sir.
You mean you remember what happened?
Correct! That card was the cause of it all.
This ID card?
Exactly, sir. That's exactly it. Nothing could be more exact, sir. Nothing.
Better pry into this one a little deeper. What do you think about the Blue Badger? Nope, nothing. Can you tell me what it is you do remember?
Well, sir, you might say I'm a little lost little patrolman, a little lost little lamb, if you will. I didn't know Mr. Detective Goodman who was in the evidence room.
And that's why you thought he looked suspicious.
Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card.
Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far.
That's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do?
That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me.
What?
Sir, I assure you I was as flustered as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him.
Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him?
Do unto others before they do unto you. My own father's words, sir.
What happened then?
Well, My eyes, sir, everything went white. When I woke, I was here.
Right.
So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you?
What do you mean, Emma?
Let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman, and the victim who he met at the scene of the crime didn't show his ID card. In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim really was really the victim. And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't even know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir! That's what I wanted to say! That is, I did say something along those lines. Huh? But you still ended up here? They told me that it had to be him, sir. On that day, at that time, Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said.
But you don't remember the events clearly.
No, but the videotape is quite clear.
Huh?
Videotape? From the security camera. The crime, my crime, the crime, I sort of stamp out. It's there, it's me, it's on tape. And you waited until now to tell us this? I'm sorry, really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge. I don't deserve it.
But no thanks, I have my own. Well, I guess we better go check out the crime scene. Oops, this is criminal affairs.
Mr. Wright, look who's standing at the Chief of Detectives desk.
It's Police Chief Gant.
And you're sure this is all, hmm? You know what it means if there's anything missing. Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats, under his seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you call me right away. Deal? Yes, sir. We'll scour the place again, sir.
Chief of Detectives looks a little flustered.
Aha, righto, my boy. How you been? Swim much? Oh, Chief Gant, reporting for duty, sir.
Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright?
Is Edgeworth gonna be okay?
Oh, Worthy. Oh, you know, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him.
Sounds like an inquisition.
Yep, well, they'd had no end of trouble with the boy since last year.
You mean the incident on Gourd Lake?
It doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? And you got someone else found guilty in that case. Righto.
Von Karma.
A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court, you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence.
But wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence.
In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they'd do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy.
What?
It's downright odd, I tell you. The detective getting killed on their turf too, I mean.
They're being the prosecutors, I assume.
Scientifically speaking, it's impossible.
Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says.
What evidence is this?
Now, righto. I can't give away all our secrets like that. And in this particular, well, it's a little sensitive, and I can't talk about it.
Wasn't expecting much anyway.
You know, one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets. Can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the chief of detectives' trap shut.
Ah, he was the one you were picking on earlier.
Huh? You saw that? Oops.
Wonder what it was that he wanted the chief detectives to do.
Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him. Blue Badger.
Future star of the police force.
Sounds a little unchanged from the one outside.
Ah, well, the Dancing Blue Badger, TM, is still in the development, you see.
Do you have a trademark?
Absolutely! It's cutting-edge stuff! Very now! Showed this doll here to my daughter and she burst into tears! Don't show her the moving mock-up outside then, you'll give her nightmares. Whew, sorry you had to see that.
What exactly did the chief of police want you to do?
Well, see over there? That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it out for anything that might be a clue. I took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can.
So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here?
Of course not. Well, except for this.
What? You kept something?
Sure, why not? It's not important, just didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete.
Lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose something?
The date on it is February 21. Better make a note of that just in case. Goodman's lost item report, a half-written document dated to February 21st. Can only be submitted to the chief of police. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Now I see one of the detectives. He's mumbling something to himself. I know. The killer used a cassette tape. What a crafty trick. That gunshot was a fake. This is good. No one would expect a cassette tape in this day and age. He's not writing a report. He's writing a novel. Well, good to see you, Chief Gant. I am an attorney. Nope, nothing. Okay, well maybe we should ask Gant about the lost item report. Nope, nothing. Well, nobody's at the guard station. Or... Can we still look through this? Nope, nothing. High Prosecutor's Office. Let's see if there's anything there. February 23rd. High Prosecutor's Office. Room 1202.
Well, this makes it as classy today as it was yesterday.
And I'm sure it'll still be just as classy tomorrow, Emma. Incidentally, Edgeworth's not here.
I'm sure he's off doing important investigations.
I know that's what he's doing. I guess we'll have to come back. Guess I don't know. Nope, you do not know what this is. I think we chatted with Officer Meekins enough. Is there anything we can get from Mr. Gant? Anything you can tell about the SL9? Nope, nothing. Oh, permission to enter. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, I never thought the day would come when Wright asked me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. now, righto? Actually, I'm sorry, I don't need to investigate after all. Righto, please, do I look like a selfish man? Huh? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50? I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out.
Just goes to show, you never know until you ask.
And for you here, you can borrow this.
Hey, this is a detective's ID card, isn't it?
That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it.
Yes, sir. It's an honor.
You should run along and do your best now. Later, folks.
Looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Just think, a real ID.
You seem happy.
Yes, sir, because, sir, we gotta get to the evidence room now, sir.
I think this places a bad influence on the girl. The evidence room is beyond that door.
And we have the ID card from Chief Gant. Let's just walk in. It won't open.
Aha! The card reader is turned off, see?
What is that security guard thinking?
Howdy, partners. Well, well. What's made my Bambina sky so grey? Officer Marshall! Why does it have to be him? What's that? Why does it have to be him? Look for. As you may have surmised, this here is my saloon.
We're here to investigate the crime scene.
Yeehaw! That card you got there on your chest. That's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts.
Yeehaw?
Well, what you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. Crime scene's awaiting.
Look at the card readers on again. But while we're here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions.
Sorry, Cabo, but I got no mind tangled with you, hombres.
You're busy then?
Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres.
I was wondering if we could talk to you?
Sorry, Bambina. But I'm off to roam the lands like a tumbleweed on a wide prairie. Like a gunslinger loading a 6-shooter, I say a little prayer.
What was that all about, Mr. Wright?
I think he was just too hungry to talk.
You were saying that because his stomach was growling. You have no idea what he was talking about either.
Well, in any case, we need to get cracking on this investigation pronto. Oh yeah, I wanted to check something. I think there's any luminol in this room. Damn. They won't let me.
Think pink lenses would drive you crazy?
I agree, but apparently they're to see... They help see luminol reactions.
I would use a marker to write your name on this.
Emma Sky. Don't tell me you'll bring this with you everywhere you go.
Well, you never know when something might go down.
What kind of a world do you think we live in? Alright, well, I have a delivery of a Salisbury steak lunch. That smell. Ah, reminds me of Texas.
So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas?
No, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this from my baby?
Yeah, Miss Star.
But what's this?
What? What's wrong?
A filet steak lunch. I see. I see.
I don't see. I wonder what it means.
Steak lunch given to Officer Marshall. Alright, Bambina. You win.
Finally, it seems like he's willing to talk. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right?
You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job, and I'm grateful for it.
Actually, Officer Meekin at the detention center told us.
Ah, that poor little doggy. Poor guy. I keep getting his name wrong and calling him Meekly.
He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station.
Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. But since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, it might not look it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know?
So, what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place?
Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my speed zippy.
No, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy.
There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place.
You mean the security camera system?
I don't take the machines much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli that's sneaking next to your steak, you know?
Miss Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago.
It was always in my dream to be the rawhide wrangler on the scene of a crime. It's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie fire.
You're still investigating the SL9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you?
That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but it smells like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it.
What kind of case was it anyway? We heard names so many times, but no one tells us what actually happened.
There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago.
2 days ago? Day of our case.
That's right. The evidence transferals.
Redford was talking about the transferals too.
I know what maybe the two of these machines in here do.
Only 2 of them? There must be a dozen.
Like I said, Bambina, the machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steaks. The easiest ones to understand are these here the security cameras.
Those are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned.
If nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours.
And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes?
I reckon there might be.
You're the security guard and you reckon.
Oh, one more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card.
That's the card reader by the door.
The card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through.
Hey, there's the one from Detective Goodman. So this is the ID card record. Hey, I've seen that somewhere before.
Sorry, Bambina. I can't show you more than that.
Huh?
I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet.
Mr. Wright, I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen that number before. Maybe there's some way I can prove that record is tied to the stabbing. Wait, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing is about?
We keep only evidence from solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake, see?
So what happens to the evidence after 2 years?
It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the county sheriff's department. That's what we call transferal. We do it every February.
I see now.
Transferal is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever. Dead. Never to be reopened again. Never to be reinvestigated.
And that happened to SL9 2 days ago. See this? This is the victim's ID card.
Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot. Number on this is 5842189.
Officer Marshall, show us that ID card record again. Look, the fourth number. It's a perfect match.
It was used at 514, right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of them cars in the world.
So when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room.
But wait, what did Officer Meekin say?
Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID card.
So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do?
That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me.
If he had his ID card then, why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins? Alright, compadre, you win. I guess I can give you this ID card record. ID card record added to the court record. IDs of all who entered the evidence room on February 21st. I got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. Well, first of all, Officer Marshall, I'm a lawyer. Nope, that's nothing. Yeah, Officer Marshall, what's your ID number? Nope, she's not gonna tell us. Into the evidence room. February 23rd. Evidence room, Sector 3. It's quiet. The investigation must be over here.
So this is the evidence room? It really is kind of like a graveyard.
Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue.
Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me.
Eek! Whoa!
Sorry, I thought you were a ghost.
I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So is it true what I heard? Righto, please. Do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asks me, sir, can I borrow $50? I get the $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's desire. Knock yourself out. Yeah, it's true. So, chief of police can't? Will loan anyone $50? Even me? Oh, so that's what you were talking about. Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Just for today?
Boss for a day.
But guess what? You got permission from the chief, and now you're a boss for the day. Gee, thanks. First of all, you want to have this. Evidence room floor plans. Scene of the stabbing of a detective at the police department. Whoops. There we go. Yep, it's a corner.
What's up, Detective Gumshoe? You're boss for the day?
That's right, it's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department.
But if you're the boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings?
Hold on a sec, something's printing in the background. They're using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation. Again. I'm adamant, though. I'm gonna take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal.
You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe?
Of course. I'm a detective after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal.
Only you can open?
I'll always leave Mr. Edgeworth no matter what happens.
So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee now, right?
They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today.
I see.
This is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case.
That case?
Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth.
Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case.
This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it.
Using their ID card?
Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Wow, my third consonant's entering the force already.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, but I can't lose my own right hand.
Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprint.
Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coded with a fingerprint. But the only locker we can open is our own.
Hey, that's a photo of a character I recognize. That's not yet in this game. Funny, they look like normal lockers.
These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, see?
The handles?
On the other side of the handles is a sensor. And if the wrong person touches it,
Zap! You get a shock!
if that's what happened, my hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks.
Evidence locker. Only assigned detective prints can unlock it. Indicator lamp lights up when it's open. So, Detective Gumshoe, can you tell us more about the SL9 incident?
Mr. Goodman's note, that switchblade knife. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone.
Because of the SL9 connection?
That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, you know, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared.
But why would evidence from that case turn up now?
I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case?
Just take a look at this. This is the ID card record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing.
Ah, I heard the rumors. So it was Goodman who came in here at the time of the murder. Whoa!
What is it?
That second number.
It's not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe?
Mr. Edgeworth!
What?
The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth.
What? ID card record updated in the court record. How would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room?
Now that was a bloody and violent case.
Violent, so it was a murder?
A serial killing.
A serial killing? Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all.
But the killer made a mistake and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him.
And this was 2 years ago?
That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight and started the rumor mill.
Rumors about forged evidence?
It was supposed to be all cleaned up with the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is.
Huh? What do you mean?
Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see?
So, that switchblade knife. The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself? Wow, look at this big pile of junk in the corner. That looks like a car door. There's a pair of handcuffs attached to the frame. Maybe the guy they caught was some sort of escape artist and he got away. Hey, that's one of those human profiles for range testing. He's been shot square in the forehead. Better him than us. Hey, I recognize these. Some sort of bulky equipment is gathering dust here. What a sorry-looking fishing pole that is.
Ah, that's my personal pole. Never did get around to using it.
Wait, I've seen that somewhere before. The metal detector.
Right, pal, that's that metal detector. The one that led to the solving of that case out on Gold Lake, remember?
Alright, wow, that feels like it was ages ago. And, I don't think I've seen this one before.
Oh, that's a bug sweeper. I'm sure they'll come in handy in solving some case sooner or later.
Foreshadowing. A cheap-looking box.
Can't judge a person or a machine by the cover, you gotta look at their heart.
Wait, hold on. There's something sticking out of here. Looks like a shirt. Guess it must be evidence for some case. Detective Gumshoe put this here.
There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of slob. I'm not responsible for the evidence here. That said, I bet that evidence locker was opened recently.
How do you know?
If you leave things hanging out like that, the evidence gets dirty or ripped. The guy checks on that kind of stuff and notifies the detective responsible. How many times have I had him breathing down my neck about some silly evidence?
I don't think Detective Gumshoe leaves evidence hanging out a lot, too. But he doesn't tuck in his shirt under that trench coat, either.
If you're gonna talk behind someone's back, don't do it right in front of them, pal.
Ooh, a bloody handprint. What's this? Blood. It's a little worn, but there's definitely a handprint there. Looks like someone tried to wipe it off. Mr. Wright! What if there are other bloodstains left in the room? We should use their testing fluid to check it out. But first, other stuff. Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces. Detective Gumshoe, perhaps?
There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of hooligan. That's apparently from the case.
The case?
The SL9 incident, pal. See the sticker on one of the pieces there?
Another piece of SL9 evidence. Take a closer look. I don't know what shape these pieces were in before whatever it was broke. You want to try to put it back together?
Good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. Well, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up.
That's why I always carry around a tube of glue. Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place.
Oops. Ah. Wrong click.
Nope, that one's not it. Maybe it's this one? Ah, that one.
think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing.
Yeah, I got that file too in 2 minutes myself. Problem is finishing it.
Were some of the pieces stolen? I bet they were missing to begin with.
Still, doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar.
I kind of understand how it got broken.
Unstable jar added to the core record. Jar pieced back together from fragments found at the crime scene. A piece is missing. Ah, paint. What is the saw and paint doing here?
Since the dawn of time, true art has always been a war against oppression.
True art? Notice that there's blue and yellow paint here. Perhaps we're witnessing the birthplace of the Blue Badger?
Well, might say this is my studio.
Here, in the evidence room? Ooh, a glove. Someone left the glove here, but only one. Detective Gumshoe, maybe?
There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know.
I mean, SL9? It does have a tag on it. Tagged evidence from the SL9 incident. Extremely thin rubber glove. Look, this one's open, and the red indicator light above the door is lit.
That lock is coated with Detective Goodman's fingerprint.
Detective Goodman's locker. Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that?
Well, it'd be hard to get it to open again if we close it.
It's empty. They must have taken the contents elsewhere.
Alright, luminol time. There it is.
Oops. There. Nope. Present. No. There we go. Examine. How do I spray again? Ah, there it is. Spray. Ah, red. Ooh, blood. That must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, detective?
Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien?
This proved that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans.
Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked.
I knew it! This is someone's right handprint!
What? What's the matter?
What's the matter, detective?
This locker. It's mine!
It's yours?
Please! You have to help me. And they come to take me away. Promise to testify that I wouldn't harm a fly! Do that for me, won't you, pals?
This is an important clue. I'll jot it on the floor plans.
I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can trust the you can't trust the police.
You are the police. You're a detective. Ooh, another bloodstain. Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant.
Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal.
What, this? It's called luminol testing fluid.
Where'd you get your hands on that?
Huh?
I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow $50 from the chief.
Where do you get this, Emma?
I always buy it by mail order.
Well, I better jot this down on the floor plans.
Hey, pal, look at the time. Was there something you need to be going to? Just that Mr. Edgeworth Inquiry Committee should be running out soon. Go give them my report for the day.
Hey, that's a restaurant flyer.
Might help, you know.
Report? You mean the note written on the back of that flyer? What is this, nothing but no problems?
Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him.
I don't know, the last guy who tried to give him an unrelated report didn't go well. Who needs enemies when you got friends like Detective Gumshoe?
I'm off, pal. Later!
I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. Oh, now that we figured that out. No, it can't spray. Oh wait, I have to examine first. Nope, nothing to spray here. Damn it. Ah, there we go. Oh, hello. Why is there a blood stain there? Ah, we got a reaction! There's clearly blood around the spines here. This sure was pretty messy. Someone must have tripped over something. And planted their head right in these spines. Ouch. I think that might be more painful than being murdered. Speaking of which, is there any other blood on the underground parking lot? Huh, there was. This one must be from when Lana...
No, my sister isn't the murderer.
But she did call you, didn't she? At the time of the crime? And her right hand is bandaged.
Hey, just whose side are you on?
This has nothing to do with taking sides. So this means that Lana's hand had blood on it. It just keeps getting worse. February 23rd, High Prosecutor's Office, Room 1202.
Ah, yes, my apologies.
Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? You're the lawyer that gave the affidavit. The bellboy.
Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave. So long!
Is Edgeworth here?
There, standing by the window. A teacup in his hand.
Right.
He has a hotel bring him tea service?
Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the District Prosecutor's Office inquiry.
I am. By the way,
Detective Gumshoe was looking for you.
Ah, yes, he brought me the latest information, it seems.
Really? Was it helpful?
Apparently, a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow.
The real info's on the other side, Edgeworth.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him.
Alright, first, spray the office for blood. Oh, we got something.
Looks like some blood is dripped down here.
Judging by the amount, my guess it's from a nosebleed.
A nosebleed, Maybe in his wrath, Mr. Edgeworth slapped someone for their incompetence.
Why does Detective Gumshoe's face come to mind? Hello, Edgeworth. As you know, that I am a lawyer. So, how did the inquiry committee go?
Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation.
Concealing evidence?
Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time, again.
Again?
I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago.
Are you okay for the trial tomorrow?
Well, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney. However,
Something happened?
they gave control of the investigation over to the police department.
The police department?
Yes, any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police Gant. I can do nothing but wait for his results.
I see.
Why, I ask you? Why? All along, I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still...
Wow, I never seen him this out of sorts. Oh, right. I better check this now.
As I was saying, What's this? A record of ID card usage?
Edgeworth, you went to the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less.
Yes, that's true.
Why, Mr. Edgeworth?
Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go, by Chief Gant no less.
The chief of police?
He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office.
But it was solved, right? It would have to be if the evidence was already filed.
The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here.
Hey, that's the screwdriver from the Mia Fey case. The red-white case. Whatever you want to call it. Can I ask what kind of case it was?
I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case.
Now I'm curious about this other case. I better make a note of it. Unrelated evidence. Screwdriver added to court record. Or maybe just shares the same model. Evidence from the past case of Edgeworth's. Brought back to his office by Gant's request.
Stubborn as always. I told you this has nothing to do with the current case.
Nope. I don't think there's anything else to say. Well, let's go ask Chief Gant if he's still around. He is not around. I feel like Edgeworth still has some dialogue to go through.
I know you. You probably got a hold of some information already, right?
It all has to do with that case you were on. The SL9 incident. and some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in.
You are the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later.
He must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth.
The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was a deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant.
That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago, too then.
He was a top officer and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous.
I don't know, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? I know, want to know is why was a deputy chief of police on the investigation?
In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict and the killer was executed.
Wait, you didn't...
Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I would do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something.
My sister? What?
If you were still studying forensic science.
Huh? Yes, of course. Why, just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this.
Luminal testing fluid, hmm? Well then, you might have used for this.
Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints.
It's been chemically treated for better adhesion.
For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know.
I've no say in today's investigation. Do as you will.
Edgeworth, I'm really...
No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved.
Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? Fingerprinting sent and fingerprint file received. Recovers fingerprints from handprints for comparison with fingerprint file. Well, let's get going. One last investigation. Right. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Everything to say with the fingerprint instead, you do not. February 23rd, Evidence Room, Sector 3. Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, and there's blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose a finger that'll have the left behind the clearest print. I really can't tell the difference at a glance. You're procrastinating and choose a finger. Here. Thumb. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? With Enter, see? This is where you would use the DS's touchscreen feature to deliberately spray on the aluminum powder. If we were on the DS. Looks like it did the trick. The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. Huh? How do I do that? With E. Exciting, I know. This is where you would use the mic function of the Nintendo DS. If we were using it. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See? Wow, That looks like fun. Might take some getting used to, though.
It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything.
You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra.
First, the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright.
Guess I better give it a try.
Aha, you did it! You found one!
But this looks nothing like a fingerprint.
Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't.
What does it mean?
I think it means we're out of luck.
Out of luck?
The person who left his handprint must have worn gloves.
Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here.
Calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for the other prints?
Other prints?
Looking at the locker door again closely. Seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well.
Let's see if we can find a clear
print.
Fingerprint outside of the blood. Are you serious? Is that not clear enough? There we go.
Yay! A print so clear it's dazzling.
Dazzling.
Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away.
So we're not done yet? This is quite a process.
Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint. And not knowing who the owner is, right?
Yes, she's right.
Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth. And point out the person who you think left these prints.
Huh? How am I supposed to know who it was?
I can make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whose fingerprints would we most likely find on its evidence locker?
Probably Detective Gumshoe, since this is his locker.
Aha! So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright?
You gave me this so what look. I guess it's probably because I was thinking so what.
Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright.
Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. Oops, not that. This is where we got a luminol fluid reaction, right?
Right! There's a handprint here. Okay, wanna try using this?
There go our eyes sparkling again.
Okay, let's check for prints. That's the spirit. Oh, but I had to warn you about something first.
What?
The area with the blood was wiped away, right?
We only ended up finding it using chemical means.
Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too.
Oh, right. So that means no prints.
Would you say the probability hypothesis is high?
Don't ask me.
Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away.
Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hands. would be. There we go. Oh, hey. Hey, these fingerprints,
Whose are they? Whose? Is someone I know?
It's Officer Marshall.
Huh? Officer Jake Marshall?
Marshall's fingerprints had the court record, found on a bloody handprint left in the evidence room. The print had been wiped.
That's gotta be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime.
Emma? This is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. The luminol reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place.
Oh. Oh.
So, we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a white bloodstain.
But why would Officer Marshall...
Looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call a decisive evidence.
I don't believe it.
To be continued. Gotta add some water in it. Alright, there we go. I'm back. February 24th, 9:41 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby, number 2.
So, what do you think, Mr. Wright?
I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same... Oh wait, that's Lana. The victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at each crime scenes.
Lana!
Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was... indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though.
So how'd it go?
It is Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain.
A plea bargain? What do you mean by that?
We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma.
But Lana, don't tell me you...
Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Guy? We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you?
In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall?
We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Hey, thanks for the lurk. February 24th, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom, number 9.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is...
I'm afraid you'll have to clarify.
It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time.
But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself.
That's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things. Even though he doesn't know what's going on himself.
That's supposed to be an admirable trait?
Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand.
For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department.
The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer?
Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Yes, sir! I'm Officer Mike Meekin, sir! My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir!
So you're telling us you're a professional killer?
Sir, it was me, sir! I'm the one who did it! I'll never kill anyone again, sir! You gotta believe me, sir!
Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is...
Sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir! A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend!
Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Help me, sir! Officer Meekins,
Yes, sir.
give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order.
Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. Can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Crime report, sir. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you.
Do unto others before they unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir.
I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
What I need here is more info to work with. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Yikes. Now there's a scary thought.
Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir.
The Blue Badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by Chief of Detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission of the day, sir.
I see. Sounds like a very, important mission.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around. I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there?
In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck.
Oh, even in his ID he's saluting. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right?
There it is! I found it! This is the one right here.
Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's 4989596. That's my number, sir.
I see. Huh? But the number 4989596
is shown as being used twice.
Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time was when I relocated the Blue Badge to the evidence room. And the second time was when I went to go get him after everything settled down.
I see, so it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen.
Data added to ID card record.
I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir.
Oh wait, I already read that earlier. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife.
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then?
Look at me charging in on him like that. He looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be...
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar.
What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
You took his knife.
I spun her around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
I see. You must have been desperate.
Next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then... The next thing I knew...
Yes?
He punched me right in my face, sir!
About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious!
Oh, right.
According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
He hit me right in the head, too! I woke up crying tears of pain!
That's nice, it's nice that you recovered, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir!
Your mission?
Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir! I returned into the entrance before things got out of hand.
Oh, maybe we should have finger dusted that handprint on the Blue Badger. Well, we can all rest easy now.
I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor.
Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim?
He's got a point.
Yes, Officer Meekins?
With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief?
Delivered it?
What is that? A videotape?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. Videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
Looks like communication with the police department is good as ever.
Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me.
A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Oh, that's not right. I thought it's not supposed to be on from the start.
I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security video added to the court record.
Yes, well anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter, someone in the evidence room, and some sort of, activity did take place. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir, as you wish, sir.
Mystery Man.
His face can't be clearly seen in the video. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened a locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
What's this about a fingerprint?
Each detective has been given a locker, equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
I don't know where this cross-examination will lead. But everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he's tried.
If the man opened the locker's log, which only responds to the registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir, and this too.
How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir.
People in the know?
The workers in the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir.
For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source.
So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint.
However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Sir! If I may say something, sir.
Please do. After all, you are the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. It was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify not to this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it.
Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again.
Is there a problem with the security video? Yes. I've already seen it. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange.
Strange?
This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman.
What? This video contains such a contradiction?
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth.
I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video.
He would want me to point it out.
Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of.
I have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I've ever had to do that.
You can do it, Mr. Wright. It says so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video.
How did this guy ever become a police officer?
Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is a contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman?
The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins?
Sir, do you mean me, sir?
As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released.
According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker. Let's rewind a little earlier. Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit.
Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle.
Order! Order! What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime.
But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When the door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know it must have broken down. Well, of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh well, just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
Me, Your Honor.
Yes, why wasn't the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor. Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system center? Something jam the sensor. Say, there's something else in that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's gotta be another clue somewhere in this footage.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more.
We're gonna be inspecting this video for a while.
The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please find the
Evidence for this. Please watch closely. This is a continuation of the part I showed you earlier. At least they stopped the music this time.
What's this? Something white fell out of the locker.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. After fall out and roll great distance when I open my car door, sir. I can't be sure that this item was completely inside the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers a lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
This white thing that wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator! But the crime scene.
There just might have been something that fits the description. But, sir, by insulator, you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. It's like depending upon Inspector Gadget as an eyewitness. I don't understand that. I don't understand how that relates.
Very well. Will the defense please present relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door?
I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove.
But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker.
It has a tag that says SO9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir! It would appear so, sir!
Order! 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 So are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this.
What?
Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir! Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke?
Very well, begin your testimony.
Mystery Man 2. There's one other thing that proves that man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use your ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card.
An ID card record, I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 514 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime, yes, without a doubt this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases.
Special cases?
Extremely violent cases involving police staff.
I guess that also explains why the metal detector and the stuff from the Gordy case was also in there. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference.
There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination.
Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir! He didn't show me any ID card, sir! Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked. Everything stands for contradictions. Let's point them out. I'm confused. Problem with his ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. I mean, he couldn't have used his ID because it was found at the prosecutor office crime scene. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
A lost item report. It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman has lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report.
Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right?
I can't say for sure, but there's high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card.
Order! Order! So now, what does this all mean?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card.
Order! 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 Does the prosecution have a response?
I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright.
Bravo.
Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright?
Yes, what's he up to?
That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder.
That is... well, I guess that's right.
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around.
This isn't gonna end well.
Well, well. It seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means the murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime.
So
the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Sky, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon.
Good job, Phoenix. I knew the testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning.
the activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, This trial purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana... What do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? When in doubt, object.
One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not.
But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap.
What are you talking about?
This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter.
Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes, Your Honor.
if this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident.
This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean... Your Honor? The defense would like to request a specific witness.
Oh, whom do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room.
The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name?
Jake Marshall. Officer Jake Marshall.
Why him?
I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say.
The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed.
Subpoenaed? How do you pronounce it?
Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
We will, Your Honor.
Court is now in recess.
Subpoena. February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby, number 2. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean?
You call for Jake Marshall.
It seems you've figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana. You're the one who knows everything. Emma. You always know everything. Why did you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you.
I don't recall ever asking for his protection.
How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
got a lot of nerve, pal, making the detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals.
Sorry, Detective.
You better be, pal. Hey! 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 I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky.
That's okay, so have you brought what I asked?
Mean this, right?
My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was supposed to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name? Never in a million years would I thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Yeah, you might do well to read them.
I can't believe you. The chief prosecutor were a witness in that case.
Miss Sky was a witness? SL9 incident files. Files for the Joe Dark killing, solved 2 years ago. SL9 incident files received from Lana Sky.
Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders.
Let's see, incident number SL9. Closed. Perpetrator, Joe Dark. Crime, serial murder, sentence, death. Victims, Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall. Trial data. Head prosecutor, Miles Edgeworth. Witnesses, Lana Sky, Emma Sky. Investigation Task Force. Executive Investigators, Damon Gant, Lana Sky. Head Investigator, Bruce Goodman. Investigators, Jake Marshall, Angel Starr.
Oh, what? Now that I brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me?
Emma, but why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know, unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana! This SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as... the Joe Dark killings. Joe Dark... No. No, Lana. That's over with! No! Emma, wait! And she ran away.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. We better take a good look at this file. February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Court Courtroom, number 9.
The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man same as you, wandering the trails of civilization.
Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it.
Oh, I know! You're a patrolman!
As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind call it out.
To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor.
Howling wind?
Never heard Edgeworth described that way before.
Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct?
Well, according to the papers, partner.
What do you mean?
A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up.
Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English.
Day of the crime. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They say I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, a room protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon by the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail.
I can't say I particularly care for your attitude.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks in the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful.
He's not that good with machines or with following orders.
Everyone's got their weaknesses, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours.
How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. A room so still. Even time wasn't there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? Videos are nothing that aren't useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape.
If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes ought to be erased every 6 hours.
Each time I erased the tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy's playing for the dramatic, but isn't gonna do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard of what I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. No desperado I know join the police force.
So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime...
Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day.
There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that?
Sorry, partner. Can't say that I do. I haven't been to that crypt in weeks. How does the guy avoid being fired? You used to be a detective, so you used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible.
The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence.
Now that you mention it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too.
At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place?
What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that Paola's Mongol sepia pasta. Clam pasta.
You mean to tell us you abandoned your police duty to eat some noodles?
Not all desperados eat tacos, partner.
That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson.
That's strange. This is usually where Edgewood usually says, "Did you not want a raise this year?" Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you call it, this evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel hole's the way to carry me back to west as the sun sets.
One thing seems clear, despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room. The witness doesn't appear to have seen anything.
Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it though, I better up the ante. Nope, that's not it. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Well, isn't real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprint will be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your bloodstained fingerprints were at this crime scene.
The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? Seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the blood-stained fingerprints.
Very well, you may begin your testimony about the fingerprints found at the scene of the crime.
Blood-stained fingerprints. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance.
The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Well, didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See? I had nothing to do with it.
The witness's explanation appears valid. Although there's room for doubt.
Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
The guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. The chances of it happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? Unrelated. They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. The one's got to do with breakfast, but the other's a type of murder.
He's right, although seemingly alike, but they're totally different.
I don't see why the homonyms have to do with this. How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found in Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too.
So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves. They placed their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint.
That's the only logical conclusion. Can't let him squirm out of this one. Gotta find something. Something decisive to tie Officer Marshall to the scene. That's because you, how did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine.
What? What do you mean?
I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from the locker's programming. Must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Marshall's fingerprints updated in the court record. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. But there's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall.
Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? Wait, I can prove it. God damn it. What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video's the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots.
Blind spots?
Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown.
if someone was familiar with the camera's position. They could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now.
Finally, now I can show it. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake.
Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall.
Bring our attention back to the security camera. Is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video.
That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe.
Now then, let's rewind the video a bit.
Ooh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then, it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
Order! Order! It would seem that's the only...
Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. Not my fault, he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker? Now prove it. A fingerprint sensor. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? I got 1 word for your partner.
No! Order! 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 Witness, explain yourself!
If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the scene of the crime.
Olay! Please answer the question.
What is he now, bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here.
We can?
Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. And yet, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right, the only possible conclusion.
Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
Officer Marshall was standing right here.
Yeah, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. Objection! But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed a detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. Objection! May I point out though that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his ID card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me! Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? Yeah, got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as a victim.
I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition.
I can't say I care for your bid, if you don't see me complaining.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim?
Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I mean, just send someone to check out the locker right now. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in the disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came out because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
according to the defense's argument. Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the scene of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot.
Very well, let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness opened his locker.
Up. Bloodstained. For some reason, you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman and enter the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to share your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat.
You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner.
Now then, Officer Marshall. Are you ready to tell us the truth?
Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only as half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have it to be here now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright. It seems the time has come. Marshall's confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught in the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
So the supposed victim was really you?
But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be?
Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. When you say it, you mean... You even have to ask, partner. The SO9 incident.
2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day.
Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I... Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal. I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere.
So you did to fool the security camera.
And the detective's ID card.
I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filing the report. Oops, damn it. Damn it, I win. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall.
So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight.
What do you mean, partner?
I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself.
But you could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekin and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no longer than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in there in that short time.
Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year.
When did Edgewood get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry not to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say.
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and...
So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left.
However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins.
If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
So what you're saying is on that day,
But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim showing that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner.
So you stole the evidence from the locker?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Why not?
When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
what? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. God damn it. Oh, then I'm gonna have to go back to recording for this.